All right, let's talk about what's really going on under the hood of the modern web. How are websites actually built these days? Today we're going to break down the two main ways to do it, the way of the click and the way of the code. Let's get into it.
So, you've got this awesome idea for a website, right? But then you hit that classic fork in the road. The whole idea of coding just seems, well, intimidating. It feels like this huge wall you have to climb. But here's the thought. What if the tools you use could just write the code for you? Okay, so to really get why this is such a big deal, we've got to rewind a bit and look at the original blueprint. For a long time, building for the web wasn't a choice. It was a manual job, period. There was only one way to do it, and that meant you had to get your hands dirty with code.
Now look, writing code by hand gives you this incredible pixel-perfect control over everything on the page. It's super powerful, no doubt. But that power comes with a price, right? First, there's a pretty steep learning curve. And second, you're stuck in that classic cycle. Write some code, save the file, switch to your browser, and hit refresh just to see if it worked. It's slow.
But then, everything changed. A whole new kind of tool started to show up. These tools basically hid the code, making it possible for anyone, designers, entrepreneurs, marketers, to build stuff for the web without having to become a full-blown developer. It was a total game changer.
And this whole revolution, really, it's built on one funny-sounding acronym, WYSIWG. You say it like WYSIWYG, and it stands for What You See is What You Get. That simple idea, that's the granddaddy of the entire no-code and low-code movement we see today.
The best way to think about it? It's kind of like a word processor, but for building websites. Instead of typing out abstract commands to tell the computer what you want, you just do it. You see the thing you want to change, and you change it directly. Want some text to be bold? You don't type a bold tag, you just click the bold button. Simple as that.
And that's the magic right there. It's all about immediacy. It totally gets rid of that delay between doing something and seeing the result. No more code and refresh. You just work visually. You drag a picture onto the page and poof, there it is in real time. It turns web design from this abstract, syntax-heavy puzzle into something you can actually touch and feel.
So you're probably wondering, how do these tools actually work? How can you build these really complex, cool-looking layouts without typing a single line of code? Well, let's peek inside the visual toolbox and see what makes it all tick.
Honestly, if you've ever touched a program like Photoshop or Figma, you're going to feel right at home. You got your toolbox, which is where you grab all your building blocks, text boxes, images, buttons, you name it. Then there's the properties pane. Think of that as your visual remote control for CSS, where you change all the colors, fonts, and sizes. And finally, you've got layers, which let you control exactly how things stack on top of each other.
So the whole creative process gets boiled down into a few simple stages. First, you create the layout. Then you drop in your content. After that, you style everything to make it look good. And finally, you link your pages together. What's crazy is that each of those simple clicks could be generating hundreds of lines of HTML and CSS code for you automatically.
Okay, this all sounds pretty magical, right? But hold on a second. We know that web browsers don't understand clicks and drags. They only understand one thing, code. So, what's the missing piece here? How does your visual design actually become a real website?
Yeah, this is the big question, isn't it? If you're not writing the code, then who or what is? And here's the secret. The editor itself is acting like your personal ghostwriter. Every single time you drag an element or change a color or resize a font, the editor is busy in the background translating that action into clean HTML and CSS. You're the architect drawing the plans. The editor is the construction crew actually building it.
And if you want to see this in action, a lot of the more advanced tools have something called a split view. It's so cool. On one half of your screen, you see your visual design, and on the other half, you see the actual code being written live as you make changes. It's the perfect way to see how the world of clicks connects to the world of code. So, this brings us to the fundamental trade-off, the big compromise. With a visual editor, you get incredible speed and it's super easy to get started. But you often give up some fine-tuned control and code quality. On the flip side, coding by hand is slower, for sure, but you control every single bit and byte. Handwritten code is usually super clean and efficient, while the code generated by an editor can sometimes get a little messy or bloated, which can slow your site down.
Let's just spell out the advantages clearly. For the WYSIWYG editors, the killer feature is that instant feedback. What you do is what you see right away. No waiting. For manual coding, the huge win is total creative freedom. If you can dream it, you can build it. Plus, you can write that super clean, fast-loading code that makes for a great user experience.
But of course, there are downsides to both. That automatically generated code from an editor, it can be a real headache to fix if something goes wrong and you have to dive into the code yourself. It can get pretty messy. And on the other side, that old code save refresh dance for manual developers, it just feels slow and clunky compared to a live visual editor. So after all that, which one is better? Which path should you choose? Well, the truth is, neither is better. The right choice really truly depends on what you're building and who you are.
I like to think of it like you're standing in front of two doors. Door number 1, the visual editor, is unlocked. You just push it open and you can get your idea out there fast. Door number 2, manual coding, has this really complicated lock on it. It's going to take time to learn how to pick it, but once you get it open, you have the freedom to build anything you can possibly imagine.
And that's really the crucial point here. There's no such thing as the best tool in a vacuum. There's only the best tool for your specific job. It all comes down to 3 things. What are you trying to build? What skills do you already have? And how much time you have to do it?
So, whether you end up choosing the speed of clicks or the power of code, you now get the fundamental trade-off that's at the heart of building for the web today. It's all about convenience versus control. The only question left is, for your next big idea, which path are you going to take?